So are you feeling stuck in your life right now? And maybe you have reached rock bottom and you have tried everything to try and get over some issues that are just holding you back. If any of this I've just said resonates, then you might want to continue watching, because today on the Wellness Shift podcast, we got the fabulous Marcelle Foster, who is a hypnotherapist. She also works with us as a business manager at CBR Clinics. And she does hypnotherapy on the side. And she's got great success stories to tell you guys about. And she's also going to be talking to us about what hypnotherapy is, how does it work, what are misconceptions people have about it often. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Hi, I'm Bruno de Jong, and I am the owner and director at CBR Clinics. We are a physiotherapy and wellness business, and we provide services to Waterloo, Canary Wharf, and Elephant and Castle in London. And this is the Wellness Shift podcast, where we interview some of our clients, some service providers who we work with, and also some of our staff sometimes, so they can give you a little bit of gold nuggets on how to keep improving your life and your lifestyle. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and comment, so it helps more viewers like you to find us. This episode is sponsored by Mousetrapper, one of the lead ergonomic mouse companies in Europe. Most of us spend hours at a computer, often in static positions our bodies aren't built for. That's why so many people feel pain in the neck, shoulders, and arms, often caused by one simple thing: reaching out to the side for a traditional mouse. Mousetrapper solves this by placing the mouse centrally in front of the keyboard. This keeps your arms closed, your shoulders aligned, and your posture neutral, reducing the muscle strain that leads to repetitive injuries. Instead of moving a mouse across the desk, you control everything with the mesh-like control pad or smooth carbon fiber roller bar. Both allow precise, low-effort movement using small, relaxed motions, which is exactly what good ergonomics encourages. They design and manufacture Mousetrapper in Sweden with a focus on long product life and sustainability. Durable products mean less waste and fewer replacements over time. If you never tried a center mouse before, the difference is immediate. That's why they offer a free 14-day trial so you can feel the improvement for yourself. Fight the pain, support healthy posture, experience Mousetrapper. So Marcelle, welcome to the Wellness Shift podcast. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Tell everyone who's listening and watching who you are and what you do. I can't wait to dig into all this with you.
Hi, Bruno. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. So, as you know, my name is Marcelle. I've been practicing hypnotherapy since 1998, and I've included a lot of other things to go into with my treatment of hypnotherapy. And yeah, I've been doing this for a long time and obviously got a lot of experience in it.
Yeah. And you also work with us at CBR Clinics as a business manager.
I do.
So you have treated some of our clients
I
who
have,
needed
yes.
that extra support on the other side, not just the physical.
It absolutely helps, especially when people are dealing with their physical issues, to get the mindset right at the same time.
Yeah.
It helps both mentally and physically.
Yeah.
Helps the mind.
So who would you say is your typical client, and what challenges they might be facing when they come to you?
So typically, anybody who basically has been struggling with a personal challenge that has been an ongoing issue. For example, fears, phobias, addictions, the normal common ones would have been people who are trying to stop smoking or weight loss. On the physical side, if they have any challenges that they've had a physical ailment, for example, and they're really struggling, it's inhibiting them on a psychological level. Let's say they've had some physical damage, which they've now repaired, and now it's preventing them from getting back on the track, running, getting back on the bicycle. So there's an emotional fear attached to that. Confidence, people who have confidence issues. Hypnotherapy is really good with assisting with that, depression, anxiety. So in other words, any self-limiting beliefs, thoughts that may start with, I can't, I really don't deserve, I don't know if I can, I struggle with, those thought processes all lead into a challenge that hypnotherapy can definitely assist with.
But people need to be quite open to this, right?
Sure.
Unfortunately, a lot of people, they're closed minded about a lot of things, not just hypnotherapy, but a lot of things. And this is why in the end, I catch myself saying whatever works for you or works for one doesn't work for the other.
Absolutely.
So what would you say might be a sign that someone perhaps who is a bit close-minded might be ready to take this next step? What are the signs, the telltale signs that someone is actually starting to, I don't know, get a little bit readier to do something different?
Okay, well, firstly, to get over the myth that hypnotherapy is a little bit woo-woo, or there's a lot of conflict with religious connotations, you know. So while I don't want to get into that at all, please know it has absolutely, it's a scientifically proven treatment. It's got nothing to do with any other worldly experiences or anything like that. So if you're looking at somebody who is experiencing, for example, ongoing stress or anxiety or a challenge that has been going on for longer than 3 days, you know this is something I can't actually do myself. Something happens, you can normally handle the stressful situation. If it's been going on for 3 days, you need to look at it. Just like if you've got the flu, or if you've got an ailment and it's going on for a couple of days, you go to the doctor. If you've got a pain in your back, you go to your physiotherapist before it becomes a really bad issue. This is exactly the same. You're now just dealing with your mental health. So when you're having an issue that is negatively affecting your lifestyle and it's going on for a couple of days, maybe it's time to actually go to somebody to assist you. Emotional issue can have the same negative effect in your life as a physical issue can have. And, you know, any long-standing issues that you've lived with for years, they can really stand in your way of living your life to its fullest. So whether it's emotional, physical, go to somebody who is qualified in that area to help you.
Yeah. And like you
And
said
can be
before, a lot of these, a lot of the physical symptoms are related to the psychological issues, like you said before,
absolutely,
right?
absolutely. I'm a big believer in first there's an emotional issue. And if you don't deal with it, it becomes a physical issue. For example, stress. If you don't deal with your stress, you may have a heart attack. The heart attack is a physical issue. So you can actually understand how the emotional became the physical. And people can understand it when it's stress. But they tend to find a little bit more difficult to handle it when it's another ailment. Louise Hayes, she writes a lot about it and how the emotion, everything, and I'm a believer of this, you know. Every physical issue starts as an emotional issue that is unresolved. So just deal with it. Get it over and done with. It's quick. It's simple. Live your best life.
Because a lot of people, they need the evidence, right, to see that it works before they make that investment, isn't it? So I guess some people struggle with that. While some people, they're quite quick to just, like you said, let's just get over it. Let's just do it and be done with it. So what makes your approach different from others in your field?
Okay, so I was actually asking a client about this the other day. And she said from her experience that I seem to get to the crux, I intuitively get to the crux of the matter really easily and quickly. And I offer a very client-centered approach. So it is really about what the client feels they want to achieve. And I help them because a lot of the time what the client wants to achieve is not necessarily what they need to achieve. You know, we all want stuff that really isn't good for us. So it's helping the client look at their current issue from a completely different perspective. And that offers a very clear understanding for them. But I think what makes it unique is I also include body tapping with my therapy. And body tapping is something that works with all your meridian lines, and it's just tapping blockages that have accumulated over the years of belief systems that we've had. And it really helps just get past those real stubborn issues. That works hand in hand with hypnotherapy. It's an excellent added on. And I think combining the two just adds that extra level of confidence in the process. And as long as the client and I don't give up. So I make sure that we're going to get on the same page. And when we're on the same page and we've got a full understanding, and I can understand completely where you're at, and you can understand where I'm at, and we then work together and we achieve the results. We really, really do.
So run me through, or even people who are listening might be curious now. So what can people expect from either, do you do like a discovery call or an initial appointment? So how does that first initial contact, what can people expect from that initial
Okay.
either discovery call or appointment with you?
So initially, I'll send you a questionnaire to complete. Obviously, I'd like you to be as thorough as possible. The more information I have, the better understanding I have. And information is power. We need as much as we can in order to get into all the details that we need and really unpack the issue. Our initial call then takes place pretty soon after that, and we then discuss the issue in depth. We look at understanding each point that comes up, breaking everything down to bite-sized pieces. That's how you eat the elephant, one bite at a time. And this is your issue. Trust me, it's huge. By the time you go for help, it's huge. So let's break this down into small pieces that we can both understand. And once we have a look at the ideal outcome, understanding things from a completely different perspective, we discuss how the actual hypnotherapy session will look like, how many sessions will be required, and the regularity of each session. Again, getting confirmation of the client's commitment to the process at this stage. Once we've had all the discussion, once that client can then understand what's going on, it's really important that we get their commitment. As long as they're committed to that process, Bub's your auntie.
Yeah. So what would you say is a sign the client's committed?
Well, when we have that discussion, there's that understanding. And with that understanding comes hope. And with that hope is just, it's going to happen now. That the answer's just around the corner. I've got that understanding. I've seen it from that perspective. We've got a plan of action. Yes. Yes, I need it. I want it. I know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So there's that full joint, we can do this together. Because be aware, not every therapist can help every person. And while I'm a firm believer that every person can be helped, you've got to find the right person for you. I can't help everyone out there, but everybody can be helped by someone.
Yeah.
So we need to have that rapport together.
Yeah. So when someone comes in and then you have this initial session with them, is there anything that they might do or say that makes you think, we're not the right fit?
It's more of a gut feel.
Yeah.
I really do rely a lot on my gut and my intuition.
Yeah.
And I do have a connection on a one-on-one relationship with people.
Mm-hmm.
And I have had, for example, people who have wanted to stop smoking. And they come to me and they literally sit there and go, well, nothing works. So I'm literally here to prove that nothing is going to work. This is like my last option. And, well, do you want to stop? No, but everybody else wants me to. So, you want me just to agree that, no, this is not going to work for you. Very important. If you want help, you come to me. Don't contact me on behalf of your spouse, your child, your friend. If you are committing to it, you're going to make that phone call. You're going to commit. And, yeah.
I think we see this. And I think we see this in clinic as well. And I have seen this in clinic where people have come in because the partner has booked them in and the partner has paid for it. So they come for that first session, and then it's almost like talking to a door sometimes, because only half of it's going in, the other half is not going in. And then you give them the exercises, just look at it, and you never see them again.
You know, years ago, when I first started with my hypnotherapy, and initially you're just starting out there. So you work a lot with your friends and your family, and, you want to see the results, and you don't see the results. And I was working with so many people, and I know I was doing this properly, I was doing this right. And somebody said to me, Marcelle, is there an exchange? I'm like, what do you mean? And they said, are they paying for it? I'm like, well, no. And I'm like, well, there has to be an exchange. Because until somebody gives, there's nothing for them to receive. They're not losing anything. And it's not about losing, it's about committing. And it doesn't matter whether it be £20, £10, or the full fee. If there's no exchange, there's no commitment. So free gifts and gift vouchers, I try and stay away from. I admit I have had people who really, really need the assistance. So we barter. We barter exchanges. What is your service? What is my service? Let's barter as long as there's an exchange. That exchange is crucial. If you want healing or anything to take place, you have to have an exchange.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you on that one. So when people commit and people have that first session with you, what do they normally experience after that?
Okay, so after the first therapy session, once there's an understanding of how, why, and what we're doing, once that understanding is achieved, there's an immediate sense of relief. Okay. As I mentioned before, then there's that commitment to the process. After the actual first hypnotherapy session, one can immediately experience a mental shift. There's just that mental shift, a reduction in the stress and the anxiety, because whatever the issue is, it comes with stress and anxiety. So, and they just feel unstuck, where previously they might have felt they were up against that brick wall. I just can't move past this. Suddenly, that brick wall's gone. I can actually move now. There's progress. I can flow. And things now, that blockage is gone. Energy flows the way it's supposed to flow. It's also very important to realize, though, that your body holds memory, as I'm sure you know in physiotherapy. Your body retains the memory, so does your mind. So while you might experience success very early on in the therapy, great, I've stopped smoking, or I can now write my learner's license, or I can now fly in a plane with no fear, whatever the case is. There's that instant success. That's not to say that that memory has disappeared. So with your mind retaining that memory, you need to continue the therapy. I always say, when you're a child and you're learning that nursery rhyme, Mary had a little lamb, and you get told it and gets drummed in and drummed in and drummed in, till eventually you can sort of recite it. She had a lamb, and you've got the general idea, but it has to get drummed in and drummed in and drummed in and drummed in, till now, 30, 40, 50 years later, you can recite it off the bat. Okay, same thing. You need to, yes, you'll have your initial success, but you need to continue the therapy for the prescribed number of sessions if you want that long-lasting results. You may, in some cases, want a maintenance program. And a maintenance program can be a once a month, once every 2 months. It's very dependable on the situation. Now, I am very aware that a lot of people will give you a script or a recording and say, listen to this for 3 weeks. And yes, very, very good. Because it takes 3 weeks to break a habit, 3 weeks to create a new habit. So entirely a 6-week process, and you're literally almost brainwashing yourself, for want of a better description. The only issue is that very few people are that disciplined to actually listen to that every day. Because let me tell you, skip one day, You got to start all over again. So you could spend the next year starting all over again. Okay. So while that is a very, very useful tool, very few people have the discipline to adhere to it. So go back and do your session. Go back and do your session. And I'm not saying that you're going to have 10 sessions. Don't get me wrong. We're looking maybe 4 or 5 sessions. And then you literally have reprogrammed the mind. So that is, and what I like about continuing with the actual sessions is things come up. And then you can deal with that. Oh, Marcelle, I forgot to mention in the first session, but I've also got this other trigger point that I hadn't thought of, but it's come up now. Okay. Let's get on to that. Let's eliminate these, And so you can deal with all these things that come up in between the sessions. So important.
It's like peeling the layers of an onion, isn't it?
100%, 100%.
Once you take that big, thick layer out, sometimes a lot of other stuff come out that you have to deal with, that you hadn't realized was sitting there.
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. So before people come to you and they book in, we already talked a little bit about that, but what are the common misconceptions people have about
this is a quick fix.
hypnotherapy?
Quick fix, we've all been to stage shows, where the hypnotist has got you dancing like a duck on stage and all the rest of it, Please, stage hypnosis and clinical hypnotherapy are two entirely different things. Okay, so it's nothing like that. Through a clinical environment, it takes a lot of therapy, a lot of understanding, and it's not a quick fix. We don't wave some magic wand and wham bam, you're fixed. It's not like that. Second misconception is, okay, I don't have to do anything. I just got to sit here. No, you have to. You are a part of your own healing. You need to be involved. You need to really want to do this. And that is for me, it all comes down to one thing, is your desire to heal, to fix, to whatever you want to call it. If you have the desire, if I want to do it that bad, trust me, I'm going to achieve it. And all I need is your desire. If you want to, I'll do the rest. I'll do the rest, not a problem. But you've got to have that desire, and I will build on that desire. A lot of people want to do it, but do I want it bad enough? Don't worry about that. Do you want to do it? Yes? Then that's what we can work on. I'll inspire you. I'll motivate you. I'll get you to where you need to be. But you need to have that desire to start with. You are crucial in your own healing. You need to I'll put everything into it. I need you to put some stuff into it too, though.
Yeah.
I can't just do it on my own.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest issue.
And I guess a lot of people, when they come looking for help, is a lot of people, not all of them, but a lot of people, they've tried a lot of other stuff, like you said.
Yeah, we're normally the last resort.
Is the last resort. So a lot of the time, people are hopefully a bit more open to doing it, whatever the work is. But it's a shame that it has to get to that point, because people have to sometimes hit rock bottom to finally realize, I can't live like this anymore, and I gotta take action. Usually those are the best people to work with, because they'll give 100% as well, because they're so fed up with themselves. They'll just do the work.
But it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that you kind of it's not like you wear your heart on your sleeve. Everyone who comes to see you, as long as they're in therapy with me, they are my responsibility. I will do everything I can for that person. And to see them, it's like you take your car to the mechanic for the brakes. And by the time it comes back, it's the brakes, it's the clutch, it's the fan belt needs replacing. I get that. I understand. Yeah, I understand that.
Is that layers of the onion, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
one
yeah.
thing and then another and then another. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Now, if you could give our listeners one single tip or a technique or an exercise, something that they could try today to start seeing some sort of shift or change, or maybe evidence that hypnotherapy is something that they could benefit from, what would you recommend?
Okay, so remember that all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. Okay, so I will just say the words, but you will actually go into that relaxation, that state of relaxation on your own. So I guess I can't just give one little technique without a little bit of background for understanding. To look at something from another perspective is the crucial sort of crux of it. So firstly, focus on what you want, not what you don't want. Let's just say you have a fear of moths. Believe it or not, this is one of the most common fears, a fear of moths. So instead of thinking, I don't want to be scared of moths, I don't want to be scared of moths, what do you want? I want to be comfortable around moths. Do you hear that there's a subtle difference? I don't want to hear what I don't want. Focus on what you do want. Okay, so I want to be comfortable in an aeroplane, flying across the world to go visit my kids. I want to be able to get back on my bicycle. Focus on what you want. Find a phrase that really works for you. Then, remember, all change, for any change to take place, you need to follow 4 steps. First, you need to be aware. So, aware is when that fear comes up, be aware. Firstly, remember there's energy leaving your body. Energy leaves your body for 2 reasons, love and trust or fear and doubt. And when it's leaving in the fear and doubt, you can feel that energy. You feel that heaviness in your gut or that pain in your chest. Feel when there's a discomfort in your body, identify that. How's energy leaving my body? Okay, there's an emotion attached to that. What's that emotion right now? Oh, I'm anxious. I've got to get in that car and go into a crowd of people that I don't know. Whatever it is, it's anxiety. Okay. Be aware. Then accept. Accept means don't judge it. I go, oh, I'm being so stupid. I keep on doing this. Oh, don't give me that crap. Okay, I'm just doing my stuff. That's okay. Total acceptance without judgment. Then you need to practice. The practice is what I'll teach you just now. The little thing that's going to make that little tip and trick. The practice is doing a meditation or doing a whatever you're going to be doing. And then it's the support. You need to be able to talk to somebody about it in a safe place. Somebody who's not going to throw it back in your face. You need the support. Okay, a safe support. You got to be aware, oh, I'm doing my stuff again. You got to accept it. That's okay, I'm just doing me. Practice and support. If you do those 4 things, change will automatically take place without you even trying. Okay? So now we're going to go back to your sentence. I'm comfortable with flying. Take that one sentence, a bit of like a mantra almost, and at the same time every single day. Now we're going back to your 3 to 6 weeks. Okay, so if you've got the commitment and you can do this, yeah, you're a winner. Try and stick to it at the same time every day. If it's when you wake up in the morning or you're lying in the bath every evening, or it's in the car on the way to work or on the tube on your way to work, and you just say that sentence to yourself all the time, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and you will actually notice the shift. Okay. Oh, another really, really good one. Oh, yes. I know about this. Is literally in the moment. Okay, you'll find your mind going off on a tangent and you might go into a panic attack or whatever it is. Stop in that moment and live in the present. In that moment, when you find yourself going off, when your mind's drifting into that area it shouldn't be going because you know it's going to lead you down the rabbit hole, in that moment, go stop. Live in the moment. Look out the window, see the trees. Look at the fabric on your outfit. Look at the fabric. Look how it folds. Look how it does this. In that moment, within a minute, your mind will let that thought go, and you're back on track.
Really
Within
simple stuff.
very simple. That is probably your most simple trick. Literally, and it's not a minute, sorry, within a minute and a half, that thought goes out of your mind and you can practice. And then what happens is if you use that little trick, you suddenly start realizing that it's not my whole life that is spent stressing like this. There's a pattern here. It only ever happens when I'm doing this or when I'm doing, and suddenly you start seeing there's a pattern to this, because suddenly I'm always looking at that bloody tree. At that time that I'm always watching the dog cross the road. It happens at particular times of the day. And so you see your patterns of when you're going off tangent. And once you can see it happens at this time of the day, that time of the day, this time of the day, you suddenly see what your trigger point is. For me, when I first discovered this, it was whenever I was lying in the bath. I suddenly had time on my hands. I was suddenly alone. The kids were out the bathroom. It was my only alone space during the day. And that was my trigger. The minute I was alone, my mind would go off on it. Bring yourself back. And suddenly bath time was enjoyable.
How interesting.
So, yeah.
And so what I'm hearing really is a lot of self-observing, right? Self-observing, be curious, and be present.
Yeah, absolutely. Your body is a wealth of information. Just listen to it. It tells you it at once.
It does. It does, yeah.
Tells you when you want chocolate. It tells you when you're in disgrace.
It does. Okay, so if someone who's listening right now is still a little bit on the fence about getting in touch, what would you say to them?
Okay, so I guess I would say if they were sitting on the fence about it and weren't quite sure what to do, ask yourself, how would your life change without this issue in it? You know, what is the benefit of actually giving up the issue, of losing the issue? And if that's too difficult, because we tend to focus on the negative, why are you hanging on to it? What is this issue actually serving you? How is it serving you? People generally like to hold on to things because it brings them attention, perhaps. You know, a lot of the time people say, well, who would I be without this? You know, if I'm sick or if I'm ill, people will phone me to find out who I am. They'll come and visit me to see how I'm doing. Suddenly, if that goes away, do I stop being there? Do people stop coming to see me? Do I stop sort of having value? Who am I without this? What do I have to offer people? Because then it's just me. So, yeah, find out. Do you really want to give this up, this issue? Do you really want to solve it? Ideally, you do. But there are a lot of reasons why we hold on to it. And obviously, hypnotherapy and body tapping will actually help you release those reasons as well. And you'll actually see the benefit of life without the issue. And really, you can create a whole new life without it.
One thing that just occurred to me now is that people sometimes they hold on to their issues because it's become part of who they are. So if I let go of this, who am I? And that can be quite a scary question to ask as well. So do you do any introductory calls, like just to sort of test the waters to see if people do you do that kind of stuff? If people have questions?
Absolutely. Obviously, if somebody gives me a call, we have a 15-minute discussion discussing what their issue is, me how I can actually assist, and we see what the connection is between the two of us. Obviously, you need to have a rapport between the therapist and the client. Not every therapist can help every client. So we need to establish that, can we actually work together? And obviously also discuss, is this something that I can actually assist you with? Crucial that if somebody is wanting assistance, they make that phone call. Don't have somebody else phone on your behalf. You need to make that phone call for yourself. That is the first step in the right direction, showing your commitment to your own process. So yeah, feel free to give me a call and we can have that discussion.
Okay, great. So we're going to have all your details on the description. So anybody who's listening or watching this, if you want to get in touch with Marcelle, all her details are going to be down the description for you to get in touch and book a session and clarify any questions you might have. Marcelle, it's been a pleasure to have you at the Wellness Shift podcast. I hope you get something out of it, and I hope you are able to help some people who need help, who might be watching this. To all of our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in today. We will see you all next time.